Hi, I'm Melissa with specialneedslifehacks.com, and I am a mom of 6 children, 3 of which would be special needs, 1 that's medically fragile. And I'm also a blogger. I blog at blessedsimplicity.com. I talk about abundantly living the simple life and adoption. And this is my latest adventure, this awesome special needs life hacks webinar thing. It's beautiful. I started with my great friend, Jess Newland.
Hi, welcome. I'm Jessica. You can find me blogging at jessnewland.com. And our family also has a YouTube channel you can find if you search Newland Chronicles. I have 4 children. We live in the beautiful state of Colorado. My youngest is Zachary, and he's our special needs kiddo. He has a syndrome called Low syndrome. So we are so excited to have you guys here today. This is our 2nd episode of Special Needs Life Hacks. And today we're going to be talking about how to organize your medical supplies and equipment, and even just what supplies and medical equipment that we get and might be available to you as well. So I think I'll start by just sharing what we get from our medical supply companies. I was completely clueless and had no clue what a medical supply company was until we started getting some formula delivered a couple of years ago. And then my son had a G-tube place not quite a year ago, but that was when the whole gamut of supplies started for us. I have 3 companies that deliver to us each week or each month for Zachary. The first one we got ordered through our GI was obviously all of our G-tube supply. So the tube extensions, the syringes, they got us his pump. We get the pump bags, tape, gauze, all of that, you name it, comes from them. Our pediatrician ordered, when Zachary turned 4, diapers. So we get diapers, we get under pads for the bed. We just started getting liners for his diapers because he urinates a lot at night. So that is great. They also send diaper cream. I have a company that delivers his growth hormone and syringes and alcohol wipes. Let's see. And then I would say equipment wise, we get a lot of those orders through his rehabilitation doctor that places orders for those. So each month there are a lot of supplies that show up on our doorstep. And what do you get, Melissa?
We get the G2 supplies that you get as well, Phoebe, at GJ2. So all the feeding supplies. We get oxygen supplies from where she had a floppy airway, and her airway was obstructed. She was on oxygen at night. We still have all those supplies coming in. They're still available. The order hasn't been canceled yet. She's needing a lot less oxygen now. Our Phoebe has Beer syndrome, which is a syndrome that affects the cerebellum, and so it just has some residual throughout the body. We also get, our formula, because she's a tube-fed baby. We get lots of things from 2 companies. Our local Children's Home Healthcare that delivers most everything, and a DME company that's a part of our local pharmacy. We get some things through them. We get tapes and services and tubings and cannulas and little stickers that go on her face to hold her cannulas in, adhesive remover, creams for her G-tube, calorie boosters. Just the bulk of what we get is feeding and oxygen. We are just now on the track to getting diapers because she just turned 3 years old. And I think that's what the consensus is from around the moms community, that most insurance companies start picking up diapers are between 3 and 4 years old. So it's kind of what we get.
Awesome. So I think we'll talk first about what we do when we get a delivery. Typically deliveries are monthly. So let's see, last week I got our big feeding tube supply delivery. Next week, I'm down to my last bag of diapers. So I'm glad that next week diapers come, I think on Monday. And then I actually missed the call from the pharmacy, but I need to call them Monday to schedule his growth hormone delivery. So we're kind of at the end of the month when they all come. So I'll kind of talk about what I do when ours come each month, and then Melissa will talk about hers, and then we'll dive down even deeper into what we do. So let's see, Wednesday, our big delivery came, and it's piles and piles of boxes. Zachary uses Nourish for his formula. So they're in these big boxes and pouches. So we get, I want to say there was 7 or 8 boxes delivered. So stacked up. I had my daughter help me bring them in. And we also received a big box of syringes and let's see, tube extensions. So the first thing I do is I just kind of bring it in the house, and it usually sits in the living room. The biggest part is to not let it sit too long. It's sometimes hard to find the time to just put it where it needs to go. But that would be my first tip, is to not wait. I was talking to a friend a couple weeks ago, and she says that was her biggest struggle. She's like, it comes and I'm busy and I don't have time to put it away. And then I just get behind, and then I'm not organized for the month. So I would say, as simple as it sounds, the first thing that is really helpful for us is to just put it away. It usually gets just stacked in our closet. My husband is a big help. So actually on Wednesday night, when I was drawing up Zachary's meds, he was kind of reorganizing, pulling out the Nourish, the old, and putting the newest on the bottom and stacking the Nourish on top. And then we just kind of have a place where we pile up the other boxes in his closet to eventually be put into drawers. So that's kind of our first step when the end of the month comes.
Ours looks pretty much the same. We get one huge delivery, and then a couple of other smaller ones throughout the month that I would totally agree just to go ahead and put it all away. In that process, though, typically when you get your delivery, you get an invoice list of what they're delivering. We like to kind of go over our checklist and make sure that everything's there and that we've got the right pieces. Just once we've got the wrong extensions, like the wrong size extensions, and those won't work with your G tubes. And a couple of times we've gotten the wrong size cannulas for the face, and when you open those up, they're like way too big or too wide for the nose. So we like to kind of check all those in with the seat. It's a lot easier to get them replaced if you call right away. And with formula, I usually like to break open a box or check the outside of the box and make sure it's the right one. Phoebe uses Peptamen Junior as the base for her PB feed. And there's several family of formulas, and they all kind of look the same. The thing is, with formula in particular, I don't know how it is where you are, Jess, but here, if they drop off formula and the delivery person leaves, they can't take it back. So there's no returning it. If it's a mistake, they'll bring you more, but then you've got this bulk of formula that you don't really need, and you have to figure out what to do with it. And of course, you hate to throw it away. So I go through the checklist pretty quick and just make sure everything that looks right. You kind of learn as you go which things are real obvious and which things can kind of be missed. But then we put everything away, and that would be my first tip: is to just, if you know you're about to have a special needs child or a medically fragile child, or if you're fostering or adopting, and you know that there's going to be a medically fragile or medically needy kid coming into your house, then I would just go ahead and scope out a bulk storage space. Whether it's in that child's room or in your room or some other place in the house, just scope out a place that's about the size of a good sized closet that you can have to put all the bulk stuff in, and then just go ahead and put it away. I know, Jess, you said you guys are lucky you have some space, in Zach's room where you can keep everything.
Yeah. So we do have some nice storage in our room. So once everything is kind of where it needs to be for the month and for storage, maybe we can move now to how we divide it up further. So everything stays in Zachary's room. We're kind of unique and blessed to have a sink in Zachary's room and a vanity with drawers. But I think no matter your circumstance, dividing it up into your little drawers, or I've seen so many creative ideas for caddies and drawers on wheels, but whatever you can do. I have them divided up I have a drawer with, I use those little tubs you get from the hospital when your baby's born or when your baby's in the hospital. And I have that packed full of like the big syringes. So I kind of just use some organization in the drawer for syringes, and I kind of have lined in the front all of his needles and the alcohol wipes that we need like every single day. I have on the other side all his tube extensions. So just kind of organizing them so they're easy to grab. So by the sink, that's all what I have. I have down below like his spare buttons and his, we get the Foley catheters. If we needed to put it in his tube side, if the button were to come out and we weren't able to put it back in. So stuff like that, urine collections, supplies, all of that's in the drawer right there. On the counter, I have all the syringes for the week that I use to drop his meds and containers to hold. I use a 31 container to hold all of his medicine. It's kind of a basket with a handle. And I like that because if we were to go travel to my parents, I can just quick grab it and I have all the meds that I need to take with me. Over by his bed is where I have some more gauze for the day and the lotions and the creams I need to put on his G-tube site and the Q-tips. So all of it's kind of sectioned where I need it, but easy to grab instantly right throughout the day.
Okay. I do everything pretty much the same. We break it down from our larger bulk storage, which we forgot to mention. When you bring stuff in to that larger bulk storage space, put the new stuff like either in the back or on the bottom so that it rotates out. That's kind of difficult to do sometimes. It's a little bit of a pain to pull everything out to put the new stuff back on the bottom, but at least you won't have, as you start accumulating, a little bit of a backstock for whatever reason, hospital stays or changes or whatever, your newest stuff will get, or your oldest stuff will get used first. We do the same thing. We break it all out. Once I get everything in bulk storage, then we break it out into the areas where we use it, but we do it pretty much just once a week. On Saturday, that's just one of my Saturday tours is I go to all the spaces. I have a caddy, like just a plastic basket caddy beside my bed on top of my nightstand, which is now just a place to do these things, with all of her diapering and supplies, her G-tube site supplies, Q-tips, anything that I would need, like her eye creams and gels and things like that, anything that I would need to do for her while she's laying there being changed. Then I keep all of that stuff there. All of her medicines and syringes are in another place, separate. And then her feeding, all of her formulas and baby foods and cereals and things like that are in the kitchen where I typically feed her. The other thing that we do on Saturdays is go ahead and draw up meds for the week on Saturday, just to save us time. I sit out all her medications in a row, grab my boxes of different types of syringes. If she takes a medicine twice a day, I just do that, pick up that medicine, draw 20 or actually 14 of those, and then move to the next. And then we put all in zip baggies, and I store them in 2 separate boxes in the fridge. So when it's time to give meds, I just go grab a bag full of meds. And then, so we have those 2 types, and then our diaper bag, diaper bag will be different than everybody else's diaper bag. I think Jess and I just realized the other day that we carry the same diaper bag, and we didn't even know it. We both use the 31 regular tote with the pockets around the outside of it because you can get so much down in it, and you get all those places on the outside. And then we have a box in the car of just extra supplies, things that we would need, things that we might forget or run out of or leave home without. The only thing I wouldn't put in that box in the car would be meds or food because of the temperature changes, especially in the summer. We're in East Tennessee. So that's kind of how we disseminate it all out. We keep it as close to the place that we're going to use it as possible, and then we restock one day a week. Now, some people may go through so much that you don't have to restock daily or a couple times a week or something like that. Hopefully for us right now, once a week works, so that we keep all the big boxes out everywhere and we can have what we need where we need it.
Yeah, since I have the drawers, they're pretty deep, so I'm not like every Saturday restocking them. I just kind of refill it as I need it from the closet. But the one thing I do weekly is Zachary does go to school. He goes to kindergarten, and he just busted through my door. But every, usually Sunday or Saturday, I'm restocking his container that I send to school. So I want to send them a week's worth of what they need for the Nourish, and I want to send them fresh syringes and fresh extensions. So that's like a weekly thing that I'm reorganizing, just to make sure he has. So I do that on the weekends for sure.
That would be good, I guess, for somebody who would do daycare, or if they had like a special needs school or something like that as well. I know for me, I would be afraid to forget things like that. So I would probably I'd create like a checklist or something for myself, so I wouldn't send the bag out something that I needed. And the other thing, I guess, I mean, that's pretty much how we store everything. We can show you some like picture examples on our posts of what our baskets look like. But like once you get your stuff and realize how much you're going to have and what you're going to have, then you can, just the shoe boxes with lids are great. I use those for syringes, for lots of things. Or those 31 has great organizing containers that can be used in different ways. That's what I use in my diaper bag, those zip up pouches, so that everything is everything's organized in the diaper bag. And I get a pouch too. There's the mom bag in the so I can actually carry stuff for myself, not just Phoebe. That's always good.
Can you hear Zachary's music?
But
he's made his known.
Yeah.
Is it really loud?
No, it's not that bad. It's fine. We can hear him in the background.
It's real mom life, I guess.
Yeah, that's so cool. So the other thing that we were going to talk about is kind of where to get this stuff, and what you can get. I come across a lot of moms who don't realize that there are things that they can get provided for their child. And one nurse explained it to me so well. She said, anything that your child needs, Phoebe's 3 years old. So anything that Phoebe needs at 3 years old that another typical 3-year-old does not need, that she needs because of her medical diagnosis, you should be able to get that provided through your insurance. And that broke it down for me so well, because diapers is a thing that not everybody knows you can get for your child. Nobody knows that. And diapers are a huge expense. I think that's why everybody is so excited about it. But most states or most insurance companies look right around the age of 3 or 4 years old from what we've seen. And if your child isn't potty trained, or for some medical reason that they can't potty train, or they're not potty trained by that time, then they'll start supplying diapers. And I just actually learned from Jess that, all of the diapering creams and accessories, anything that goes along with diapering that you're going to need. And Jess, which doctor did you get your diapers through?
So the pediatrician has to order it. So, and they just made a change to his order. So say hello. They had to get a hold of the pediatrician again, and it was easy. They just had to change because we wanted the liner. So they just had to contact the pediatrician, and he agreed. So I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. So the other thing besides just disposable supplies that we get is equipment. We have a gait trainer, a positioning chair, an oxygen concentrator. I'm just talking about equipment too. That's the other thing that takes up a lot of space. We have an IV pole that holds that our pump goes on. Man, sometimes I forget what all is actually supplied because it's just kind of become part of the house now. But our physiatrist or rehab doctor orders all of those things for us. I know a lot of people think that you just have to go to a DME company and buy those things, but a lot of times insurance will cover those things as long as you have an order.
I've been blown away
I would say in getting
supplies that they'll pay for. Zach's rehab doctor, we got a stroller. We have to walk him to school, but he doesn't walk on his own. So we got a new stroller this year. We got a bed. We got a medical crib, which was a blessing after he got his G-tube to keep him contained. Walker, they're working on getting him a cane. We're going to get a special chair. And I know you have a lot of that stuff too. It's just such a blessing. And I think there's been several times people are like, well, how'd you get that? And the doctor ordered it. And I'm so thankful. Don't be afraid to ask.
And you can, don't be afraid to ask for whatever, for anything. And don't be afraid to look up online for yourself what you could find. Like our positioning chair, our B chair, that's how we got that specific chair. There are tons of positioning chairs out there, but we started just kind of researching. We got the specs and the name and like the models and serial numbers and all the information for one, and took it to our doctor so she didn't have to look it up. And we just said, we found this one. We like it for these reasons. It does all of this. Could it be this one? And she was like, oh, sure. She didn't have to look anything up. She just had it there in her hand and just had to write the orders and get it purchased. So
I did that with Zachary's cane. I just brought in the one they were using at school and she was like, okay. And she wrote it up and that was it. So
yeah, and then some things I think are just with the specialty that they make sense. Like if your tube supplies or things that you want, like, Tubey buddies or things like that. I'd ask the GI people. I know for Phoebe, the GI ordered for us she has a pressure vest that's like kind of a neoprene pressure vest. And there is a G-tube belt that is made to fit that specific pressure vest. So we took that to our GI, the order for it. They made the order for it. Hey, Zach. and they were able to get that. Your therapists also could be a great resource. I know there are things that we didn't even realize that were out there, like that pressure vest that our therapist said, or something like this.
Yeah, for sure.
That I have, and I know this is a technical difficulty first time, so we don't have to be asking questions. But typically, there's been some good discussion going on in the chat. So, our next episode of Life Hacks will be on March the 9th, and I think we're going to be talking about therapy and scheduling therapy and how to navigate the world of therapy.
A massive part of our lives, right?
And how to get all things to do with therapy taken care of. So again, you can find me at blessedsimplicity.com. And as of yesterday, our specialneedslifehacks.com website is up and live. It'll be tweaked as we go along. There's not a whole lot there yet, but it'll keep growing. And just where can they find you?
Again, I'm at jessnewland.com. And then you can find our family Newland Chronicles on YouTube. So,
yes. Awesome. So thanks for watching our video, and feel free to email us through either one of our blogs or lifehacks.com if you have any questions or if there's anything else we can help you with, or you can join our Facebook community group. It's on Facebook, just Google Special Needs Life Hacks, and we have a Facebook group there where hopefully more moms will be joining and we can ask questions and talk about things throughout the week if anybody needs help with anything.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks so much. Bye.